Hi everyone, this is a video review for homework assignment number 1 for ear training, Music 210, looking at the Karpinski textbook, page 5, and we're doing the listening exercises. So I'm going to demo number 1. So we have to listen to the recorded excerpts. 1.1 is the one that I'm going to do, and then do the following for each. Distinguish and write down at least 2 levels of pulse from what you hear. Determine whether those 2 levels form a duple or triple relationship, and then conduct along with the music using the appropriate pattern. How many more levels of pulse can you hear? Well, let's first start with example 1.1. And I'm going to try to tap along to find the pulse. Now, my own strategy is to try to find the most frequent pulse. So in that way, that would probably be the secondary pulse. But just listening to the notes and seeing what the most frequent pulse would be. So, and we'll start from there. Okay, so I feel like that's definitely a pulse that's there, and it's pretty frequent. So let me just write that down. And I counted 15 pulses. Let me try again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so there are 15 of these pulses, and then the 15th pulse actually lasts one more beat, so the note it ends at the 16th pulse. So that'll be our double bar line. But first, before we do that, let me put down the 15 pulses as short little lines. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And 16th one is the end. Okay, so let me play it again and see if you can follow along. Okay, and let me just go ahead and put that double bar line right there in that last pulse. Okay, now let's see if we can find another layer of pulse in this little excerpt. So I think that's another way you can hear the pulse. There's a stress in every second pulse. So I'm going to use the longer lines here to represent that. So here are my longer lines, every other pulse. Okay, and I'm going to actually superimpose that onto this, okay, like it is on the textbook. Okay. So let me try this again and see. I'm going to play along and see if you can follow along the stronger pulse and the weaker pulse, but both layers of pulses. Okay, so that's what I would characterize the 2 layers of pulse would be for this. Now, one of the questions says determine whether or not these 2 levels form a duple or triple relationship. Well, as you can see, the larger lines are repeating every other note, every other pulse. Excuse me. So here we have a duple relationship because the bigger stresses happen every other beat. Okay, let's take a look at the next part of the assignment on page 6. This is number 2. Listen to a short musical fragment. I'll demo 1.6 and write out the vertical pulse lines and horizontal rhythm lines for each. So here's 1.6. Okay, pretty short excerpt. So I'm going to listen again and try to tap and see if I can find the most frequent pulse, and that's where I'm going to start with. So here it is again. Okay, I think I found it. Let me listen to it once more. Okay, and let me use short lines to put that pulse on my sheets here, on my screen here, okay? So, bum, 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 okay? And one good way to do this is to really listen to it and memorize it so you can sing it back to yourself, either in pitches or just, in this case, for rhythm, okay? So this is what I have so far. And I'm going to listen again and try to find the next layer of pulse. Okay, I think I got it. Let me listen to it again. Okay, I think this is similar to the first example in that the stronger pulse is also happening at every other pulse. So I'm going to put these longer lines right on top of my shorter lines. Okay, and let me also go ahead and add that double bar line at the end. Okay, cool. Let me play it again and see if you can follow along these two layers of pulse. Okay, and again, it'll be useful to memorize the little excerpt so you can really try to write it back down. So because the next thing we need to do is write out the rhythm, the horizontal rhythm lines for this example. So as I remember, it was pa 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 pa. Okay, so some notes last just one short pulse, and some notes last longer than last two pulses. So this is what I've come up with to illustrate that. And I'm going to move my final bar line out a little bit, just like that. And maybe clean it up a little bit. There you go. Okay, and this is what I've come up with for the horizontal lines. Let's take a listen again. So notice that there are these two little shorties because the way I was listening to it, those two notes exist within that secondary pulse, and that's why I've put them in that way. So that's a demo of number 1 and number 2, the listening exercises for the end of chapter 1.